gonna create resentment. It's gonna create more pain. I think the biggest thing for me and my biggest call-in was how much resentment I was holding in my heart. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Ariana Diaz, also known as Uptown Beauty, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. So in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is sharing my experience with my Saturn return, some of the gifts that Saturn has brought to me, some of the things that I have to look at now, and how my Saturn return has pretty much changed my life. Some things, that I had to revise, and some things that were good. So the first thing is, what is Saturn return? Now, in my own words, Saturn return is when the planet Saturn comes back full circle and is placed kind of in the exact longitude, or like the exact place that it was at the time that you were born. So it's kind of like your Saturn's birthday, right? We have a birthday every year. Now we have a Saturn birthday every 29 years, okay? So it's pretty much our birthday, our Saturn's birthday, our birthday for the planet Saturn, right? And that takes a long time, right? It takes 20 to 29 years. So I'm gonna be sharing, my experience with Saturn return. It's gonna be juicy. So the first thing that I want to mention is do not fear. I remember when I was going into my Saturn return and I was reading articles online. There wasn't much articles online, but I was like, the majority of the articles that I came across online, they talked about how like your life falls apart, and like how it's like, like your Saturn return, like it's like this really bad period in your life, and that you need to like be on the lookout for it. And honestly, I was really, really scared.
How many people were scared? Me too.
I was really, really scared. But I found that my Saturn return has kind of been very, very empowering for me. I have found out that my Saturn brought me a lot of gifts, and it has been very empowering for me. One of the things is that it made me confront my people-pleasing tendencies. I cannot believe how much of a people-pleaser I was.
Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up! Stand up!
I was not seeing how bad of a people pleaser I was, and I'm thankful for my Saturn return, or people just want to call it their getting into the dirties. To me, it's the same thing, okay? To me, it's just a different wording for the same thing that is happening in your life. So it's kind of like a midlife review of what's happening in your life. And I had to literally look at myself and give me so much grace, so much compassion to that part of myself that was operating in survival mode, using people-pleasing tendencies, because I was just scared to be myself, and I was afraid to tell people no, and I was afraid of letting people see me for who I truly am. Because sometimes being vulnerable, it had this notion that it was something that had to be feared, and I'm thankful for Saturn for bringing that into my awareness of my people-pleasing tendency. An extension to that was healing my empath trait. I'm a very empathetic person. I am truly able to see and sometimes even feel what another person is going through. And it got so bad that I literally had to go into reclusion, and I really had to isolate myself for a period of time just to figure out who I am and what belongs to me. And this period of time is just guided me through that, through healing that empath quality that I have within myself. That is something beautiful for you to like understand another person and what they're going through and feel them. It provides you a deeper level of connection to the other person. But I was doing it in a very unempowered way, and it was actually not healthy because I was oftentimes confused and oftentimes lead me to I don't even know what I was doing. Number 3 is asking for help. Ooh, this was such a big one. I am the oldest child from my dad's side. My dad has 4 children, but I'm an only child from my mom's side. So I grew up kind of being the leader, right? The leader, I have to do things on my own and figuring things out by myself and kind of being the person there to answer other people's questions. I remember it got to a time like where I didn't realize how often people like use me to be their source to answer their questions, and how sometimes I would not know the answer to those questions, and how bad I felt. Being an only child from my mom's side and then being the oldest child from my dad's side, I was always used to not having somebody to ask for help, and I was struggling. Because I felt like I couldn't ask for help from anybody. I didn't think there was people out there that could help me. I had this very toxic trait of doing things on my own. And even though I'm very capable, and even though I'm, very capable of doing that, sometimes it's not the smartest thing to do. Because let's be clear, sometimes it's not the smartest thing to do to just take everything and try to do it on your own. And while I got so many beautiful lessons of like doing things in your own, and I've learned and I've gotten so many skills out of it, again, it was not the smartest thing to do, because if there's people out there that are willing to help you and that are there for you, why not collaborate? Why not ask for help? And that's something that I like realized, like with this, just growing older and coming to my Saturn return, it's just like, it's okay to ask for help, and asking for help doesn't mean that you're incapable, and asking for help doesn't make you any less of a person. Number 4 is strengthen my relationship to the Most High. I didn't realize that I was very much on the spiritual path since I was very little. I didn't realize that a lot of people didn't ask these questions. Like, for example, I was already asking when I was like 8, 7 years old, where is God? Like, that is a question that I was asking myself ever since I was little. But my Saturn return has gifted me the beautiful thing, the beauty of strengthening my relationship with my Creator, the Most High, the one there is. And that's such a beautiful feeling. I feel like strengthening and connected and making the Most High like my priority in this lifetime has made my life less of a struggle, has made my life more beautiful, and has brought so much more love into my life, so much more peace into my life. And like, truly, it's just like building a really beautiful, honest connection. I think that's very important for everybody to build that connection and to try to build it like right then and there without a third person involved, just like really building that connection. And that's another thing that Saturn has brought to my life. Number 5 is to discover parts of myself that were hidden. And this comes with some people will call good things and some bad things. I honestly look at life as kind of, and this is kind of like, but I'm gonna say it, like everything in life has beauty. And I was actually talking to one of my cousins the other day, and I told her how God is so beautiful that even in our lessons, there is a gift, which is the lesson, right? If we take it, and some lessons are really hard, but if we become open and receptive, we're able to see that even in there, and where we think there's nothing there for us, there's an actual gift, and that's so beautiful. And yeah, that moment of just like discovering parts of myself that I didn't know were there, and just like realizing that there's so much more to learn in the world, and that there's so much more that the world has to offer, and that there's so much more beauty in the world. And like honestly, if I feel bored, which is something that's been coming up, like truly being real and say, I feel bored. Because when you acknowledge that you're bored, something happens where like life will show you things to not be bored. Does that make sense? At least that's what's happened with me. Number 6 is shadow work. I've been doing shadow work even though I didn't know I was doing shadow work. And shadow work is basically looking at the parts of ourselves where we think they are ugly, that they're unlovable, where we have to do work, right? Where we have to truly look at ourselves. And it's that self-improvement, right? That self-refinement. So I've been doing a lot of shadow work as well, which is the parts of myself where I was in victimhood, was the parts of myself that were not empowered, the parts of myself where I felt disillusion, and just the whole other parts of myself, unworthy, and all of those parts of myself that, sometimes were very hard to look at, and that needed, the most loving. And sometimes we don't realize that, but it's just like really looking at ourselves, not from like a blaming mode, like, oh my God, and no, but it's like looking at those parts of ourselves that, hey, you're in the shadow, come and talk, like let's see what's going on, let's see what's happening, and just truly doing the work, just truly taking an honest look on ourselves. And the hardest part is to truly just giving ourselves the permission to open up and look at those parts of ourselves where we don't see them as beautiful, because those parts oftentimes have like so many gems and so many opportunities for growth. Number 7 is a life audit. When it comes to friends, work, relationships, how we collaborate with life. It's just looking at all those parts of myself that I created, right? Or that I collaborated with, and realizing if they are still serving me, and if they're gonna, come with me to the next level of my life. And sometimes that can be very uncomfortable. I actually uploaded a video, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, in which I did a huge social media unfollowing. And that was a life audit, right? Because that's an extension of myself, but in, the digital world. And I had to like literally unfollow so many people. Not because there was something wrong with them. It's just like the next level of my life required me to do so. And there was no real connection. There was no real connection to who I am in the present moment. I've read in some other people's articles that, when it comes to the Saturn return, it's like when people get divorces, when people like change careers. And in a way, I am changing career as well. But it wasn't so hard. I think it's because I'm also always committed to the work and just like truly look at my life and see, hey, this is where I need some work to do. This is, you know, this is the part that I play in this situation. But yeah, it's just auditing your life and be courageous, right? Because you have to have courage into, like, you have to have the courage to let go of things in order for like new things to come into your life that are more aligned with you and your life's purpose. And number 8 is to honestly clean up my act. Again, that goes back to shadow work, but cleaning up your act. Think of it as when you use a creative space. And sometimes, you know, there are creatives which they work all over the place, and that's fine if that's your creative process. But Saturn return, or this life, like this part of life, is just to clean up your act and be willing to look up what you've created and see what can come forward, and see the things that you have to kind of like destroy or let behind, and let it in another timeline, and just clean up your act. And, you know, to sum it up, I feel like my Saturn return has been a blessing. And yes, it is difficult at times. And yes, it feels uncomfortable at times. You know, some people, you know, sometimes you have to let go of relationships that were beautiful at a moment, but are no longer, you know, serving your purpose, or where you have to go, or they're not committed to the growth. And that can be very, very uncomfortable. Growth can be very uncomfortable, but it's just us being committed to our true self, because if not, it's gonna create resentment, it's gonna create more pain. I think the biggest thing for me, and my biggest calling, was how much resentment I was holding in my heart, especially because I realized that I was not choosing myself in a lot of things, and I was just so focused on what other people were doing, and I was not focused on my own homework and what I had to do, and that was creating a lot of resentment to me. But again, it's just that part of looking at yourself and being real and being compassionate and being be very loving to those parts of yourself, and that's gonna get you through it. You know, that's gonna be through it. And thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.